Your ex is never going to replace you. And the reason why I'm confident about this is due to these 5 reasons. The first thing is that the bond that you had wasn't just about love, it was emotional safety. You gave them space and understanding, which is rare in most connections that you have, and that emotional blueprint stays with them. They essentially are going to long for that connection in any other relationship that they try to explore or get deep with, and they're going to realize very quickly that they're not going to be able to emulate exactly what you brought in the relationship with someone new. They may think this in the beginning and it may feel that way in the honeymoon stage, but this is just because it's something brand new. And once that starts to wear off and they start to get more towards that commitment phase, they're going to realize very quickly that everyone is different, which means that every relationship is now going to be different. And what you guys had is not going to be the same in the next person. So they're going to start to reminisce about you and the things that you're doing, which is why new relationships right after a breakup tend to not work, because they haven't done what is necessary to heal from that last relationship and really contemplate the magnitude of losing someone like you. So it's in this moment where they're going to start to realize things and they're going to understand the consequences of losing someone like you, because chances are you were the perfect partner for them. Which segues perfectly into the second thing, and that is they may find someone new, but not someone better. What you built takes time, effort, and emotional maturity, and it's also going to be customized to you and who you are and your personality. So again, this is going to be very challenging for them to essentially emulate in another person, and it's going to wear on that relationship because they're again going to expect them to show up the exact same way you did and do the same things you did, but that person is not going to be able to fulfill that. And even if they did for a little bit, it's going to wear off and it's going to wane on that relationship. So because of that, again, they start to realize in this moment that just because they have someone new, it doesn't mean that it's going to be better for them, because this is something that is going to wear out at some point in time. Once that honeymoon phase wears off and they get again to that commitment stage, they're going to realize that they're going to want more depth, and they got that depth with you, but it took a significant amount of time for you guys to get there, and they're expecting this person on day one to essentially resume where you guys left off, which is not going to be realistic and is not going to happen essentially. The third thing is that you saw parts of them that they hid from others. Their wounds, their fears, their emotional patterns, you understood it all, and on top of that, you accepted them for the way that they were. You were willing to work with them and do whatever you possibly can to make them feel seen, heard, and understood again. And this is something that they cherish whether they want to admit it to you or not. And the thing about this is that not everyone is going to be able to do that. They're not going to respond the same way you did, and maybe they may lead with some judgment and wanting them to fix these things and, not willing to be patient like you were. And that's something that they are really going to miss, and they're going to really see the magnitude of losing someone like you. And on top of all of that, that kind of emotional exposure isn't easy for them to repeat, right? It's a lot of energy and effort that they had to go through to essentially allow themselves to open up in that way. And depending upon how this new person responds to it, it may cause them to want to shut down and completely and reminisce about you, because they realize that you essentially put in all of this work and was really understanding and patient with them, and they're not just going to be able to easily have that in somebody else, or this person is never going to be willing to match the same thing that you were to them. So this is where they see the rarity of having someone like you who is able to do all of these things for them naturally. The fourth thing is that you help them grow, even when they didn't appreciate it. Your support challenged them to face parts of themselves that they avoided, and they were able to essentially work through these things. No matter how much they've pushed you away or essentially made you feel like crap for doing this, they appreciated it in the long run because it made them a better person. It essentially made them who they are today. And that type of impact stays with them even if they act indifferent. And that's something that they're going to realize again, because they think that they just did this on their own and they didn't need you and all these different things. But in actuality, your emotional safety and understanding and love allowed them to feel comfortable enough to express themselves that way. And that's what essentially helped them to work through this. But now, with a new relationship with somebody else, if they're not able to emulate again that same feeling, they're going to start to be more closed off again, and they're not going to have that same growth, or they're going to appreciate the environment that you were able to create for them to work through these things, and they're going to appreciate more of you in this moment and understand the value that both you and the relationship brought to their life. And it sucks that it takes this for them to realize that, but sometimes it's necessary because they essentially are too comfortable in the relationship with you, and they don't realize this until they're actually separated from you and the relationship. And the fifth and final thing is that they realize it when they see your glow up. Seeing your glow up, peace and progress will shift their perspective, because they realize that you essentially are happier without them, and it sends them a message that you don't need them in order to be happy, and you are essentially going to move on with your life. And this causes them to come to that realization that they were the problem this entire time, and it had little to nothing to do with you, because you tried to do everything that you could. You tried to show up in the relationship for them and show them the love and commitment that you had for both of them in the relationship, but they took it all for granted. And it's in this moment that they realize everything all at once, and they start to come to their senses that they were the problem this entire time. And this is where you could essentially start to see them trying to reach out to you, both indirectly or directly, to try to see if there's any way to salvage this relationship. And it's in that moment that you have to really ask yourself before you respond, what is the best thing for you here? Because chances are you already know what the answer is here, and it's just might be hard for you to accept it, but it's important for you to stick to that, because that is what's going to be in your best interest, and it's going to lead you down a path that you actually want to go, which could open up doors to having a healthier relationship with somebody else, and to match your same energy, effort, love, and understanding that you give them back to you, and even sometimes even more. And this is something that you really want to contemplate, because yes, maybe things can work out with this person, but there is no guarantee of that, and you've had all of this different times and chances to try to do that with this person, and they simply just were not showing up the way that you wanted or need them to. So again, I know that this might be a challenging thing for you to accept, but at the end of the day, it's important for you to do this, because again, you don't know if this person is going to be able to show up in the relationship the way that you need them to, and they've already shown you enough up until this point. So it's important for you to figure out what's best for you, and once you're able to do that, it's important for you to stick to it, knowing that that's in your best interest. I hope that you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.